MSI. You know, I do think he has been very on point. You know, thinking back to that last game, he's finding the Q flashes he needs to. He is creating space for his carries. He is putting pressure on the MKOI carries. You know, even that engage from the Raptor pit, after Alvaro finds this great pick, they get the Baron, it's immediate, the engage. Q flash finds it, Knight follows up, they kill Supa, and just like that, any momentum that MKOI had was gone. And I think that Beishuan definitely deserves credit for how well he is playing against perhaps the best, if not one of the best junglers in Europe.
Well, we'll see how things pan out here in Game 4. In Fearless, the drafts really do get tested this late into the series. Trundle ban from BLG. The Kalista first pick from Supa, definitely looking like a Renata bot lane. I wonder if BLG will look to try and take it away.
Are you a fan of the Kalista? Because so far, Kalista winless at the tournament, and has been getting punished pretty heavily by these range bot lanes. Like, again, if you just go Nico plus any sort of range bot lane, or like even like an Ashe or something along those lines, I do feel like Kalista really struggles in that 2v2, and it can be very tough to get value. How confident are you in the pick?
Well, I'm not at all. I think the two champs that Europe really shouldn't be playing is Twisted Fate and Kalista. But hey, Supa has to have confidence in himself, and his coach believes in him to bring out the Kalista. The Sejuani response into the Skarner isn't really much of a surprise, and there's the Renata to pair alongside it. So, like, if this does go to a Game 5, we're getting very deep into the pools for sure. But I think BLG have gone for a very safe approach. Reminder that Knight is a very good Nico player as well. There's always the possibility of them flexing it into the mid lane. Our assumption is that it is going into the bot lane alongside this Ashe, which is just a very strong bot lane 2 versus 2. But that flexibility is something that BLG still have in their back pocket.
Absolutely. I mean, Ashe is the one that I called out because I think this matchup is so impossible for both Renata and Kalista. Both of these champions struggle into poke, right? You know, they're really good at dealing with hard engage. You have the Kalista ultimate to be able to, you know, have your Renata block and engage, and you pull him in, and he knocks someone up, and he throws over the hostile takeover. But Ashe doesn't really care. You're just going to be getting hit by volley after volley. You're outranged. You're going to be slowed down by the Ashe, which sets up for Tangle Barbs very easily for Nico, as well as all of the little poke and harass that Nico can throw out. So I think it's going to be an incredibly difficult position here for Supa and Alvaro. Plus, it means that Alvaro is not on a hard engaged champ. He has, in their losing games, been the one to bring that spark of hope, the one to be able to actually find these engages. So we'll see how they're going to be able to navigate this, as I really like what BLG has put out in these first 3 picks.
Okay, so they're going to take the Yorick away from Bin, one of his most played from Spring. And honestly, one of the most impressive Yoricks in the world. So Koi definitely showing that respect towards that top laner. We'll also see, it feels like BLG is really trying to pinch that pool even more. They're really testing Jojo, because while some pressure has been put onto Knight's pool, like the same can be said for Jojo. Again, when we think about him as a player, Ahri, Taliyah, Yone, Azir are usually the champions that we've seen him have a lot of success on. In the finals and against KC, he brought out the Kassadin out of nowhere.
Yep.
Whether that's a
in playoffs and stuff too.
Yeah, the Cassio as well. So it's not that he doesn't have these picks, but we'll see what he's got prepared for us.
I think is going to be the answer. With the Cassio ban to me, I think that
yeah.
Jojo wants Rise. I was going to say Renekton up and available. Obviously, extreme comfort here for Bin. So if he's going to be blind picking, that would not surprise me whatsoever. I do think we are likely to get a Rise here from Jojo. And then the question is, you know, is that Cassio ban, is the fact that some of these other picks are already out going to be enough to protect it?
I like the Cassante takeaway, just because I think that with the Renekton lock-in, that's exactly where Mewin would have gone. It was something he brought out in the finals, and he had a monster play performance on it against Broken Blade. So that denial is pretty good. I'm curious as to what Mewin has prepared into it, if he's got something spicy, or if instead he wants to play it safe with something a little bit more generic. Why though, they need to lock in their mid laner and their top laner. And Bessa is another one that I feel like so far at MSI hasn't really been as strong. She was kind of a staple.
Really hard to have successful games, I think.
Yeah, coming into MSI, obviously she was a staple throughout every meta throughout the world, but here at MSI, she just hasn't quite been as effective. Still, something that we've seen come through from Mewin before. We'll see how things pan out. So far, their composition is very skirmish heavy, a lot of team fight options, and now with the Rise locked in and a strong ability to play through the side lanes. But if BLG lock in the Syndra, I think it's a really good matchup into the Rise. You have a huge range advantage. With both Syndra and the Ashe, you have a lot of poke, and I like the response here from BLG. You're giving Knight another one of his comfort picks, and we saw it in the previous game. When you give this man agency, when you give this man comfort, he really does thrive.
He absolutely does. Second most played all time, 54 games on it, nearly a 78% win rate. This guy is insane on the Syndra. It is, to me, was the initial iconic pick for Knight. Obviously, the Ahri then became so famous later on, but this was a pick that he was incredibly famous for in the LPL, dominating solo queue on, finding incredible angles. I will say, I like the matchup for Syndra, but that being said, if JoJo can survive the early game, you do hit a point where you're on Merc Dreads, you're on Archangels, you're on Roa.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Syndra can't one-shot you anymore,
True,
and then it can become very, very difficult. So, JoJo is going to have that potential advantage. There's not really anyone on the other side that wants to side lane against Arise, so that is a potential advantage too. So we'll see if they're going to be able to find an edge there, but Knight has been incredible, I think, throughout this entire series.
Certainly has. Now, a Western team has never taken 2 games off of BLG before. 1 is the most. So KOI have the opportunity to make history today, but if history is doomed to repeat itself, then BLG is looking to close the series right here, right now.
That's a throwback, the LCS Pigeon from back in the day, one of our finals. Landed on the stage. I think it was actually here in Vancouver. I wouldn't be surprised if it was our 2017 spring finals. I believe it was that year, where the Pigeon landed on the stage and was just chilling there the whole event long. And people started having pigeon signs and were cheering for the Pigeon and stuff. It was definitely a memorable moment. As BLG out on the map here again, you've got to respect what they can do at level 1. This team really will punish you, as Alvaro will get eyes on BLG moving in.
Sweeper coming through from Elk to clear out any wards and get some deep vision of their own. They won't actually spot that. Oh, no, they will.
KOI, though, are kind of collapsing.
Can they collapse? Nguyen this time is hovering around, ready for a fight. Oh, he's going to spot them out.
They're staying, so this is going to be a full scrap here. Mirwin is in the area. They do spot him. Bin is going to be going back to base, and the question is, does Bin cancel that stay around, or will he complete it? He completes the base, and he's going to be heading straight out towards top. You can see Mirwin is heading a very safe path around. Doesn't want to run into Bin in the bush and lose any HP or anything like that. And at the end of the day, BLG gets some vision down, but will not continue to try to contest at level 1.
JoJo still playing with confidence, emoting on the stage. But, both junglers going to be starting on the top side of the map. I feel like the story of this series has been Elk and On get push in the bot lane 2 versus 2. And I think they're going to look to try and do it again. On's positioning in the lane to already try and chip away at the HP bar. It's very difficult for Alvaro to really trade back this early on. Does have the handshake, of course. With the range advantage that you have on top of the Ashe, it's just very much a BLG favored bot lane 2v2.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see JoJo here trying to sidestep the Q, can't quite do it. Was able to knock off the first of the first strike procs. This time, Knight able to cash in, make a little bit of gold there for himself, and he's clearly with this rune just going to be playing to farm. Going to be looking to poke, doesn't want to get into any sort of committed fight from JoJo. JoJo's going to be playing the wave, and Knight is going to be trying to harass him and make it difficult for him to actually crash those waves. Because Rise does have very, very strong wave clear, but is pretty heavily mana-gated early on. You do need to be able to just push in the waves and look for constant bases to get those early mana items, the tier, the catalyst, and really start to scale into the game.
Okay, so early on we can see that Bin has the push in the top lane 1v1. Meanwhile, on the bot side of the map, Elk and On also have that push. Mewen, I imagine, also just looking to play very safe because they didn't really get much information. That ward on the Raptors that you can see placed relatively, a few moments ago.
Yoya is behind them, though. We'll see if they're going to be able to find any sort of an angle. Using the Nico Scout to try to find it, but they couldn't do it. Alvaro flashing forward here, looking for Elk. Elk in a lot of trouble now. Has no flash, does still have the cleanse remaining. Is going to be stunned up and has to use it, but Beishuan is now here. And Beishuan's going to be looking for an angle. Yoya forced to flash out to safety as well, as it is going to be 3 summoners for 3 at the end of the day. Both of them off of Alvaro there, and the flash off of Elyoya, but they did get both of the summoners off of Elk and the heal from On.
I like the creative pathing from Elyoya, circumventing the Vision in order to try and find a collapse onto this high-pressure lane.
Each one's going to look again. Alvaro, no flash available. He could be in a lot of trouble, going to get pulled back. And do they have the damage to finish him off? It looks like they probably will. The bailout going to do nothing as MKOI's bot lane going to be knocked down. It's Elk claiming first blood.
I mean, there was no reason for Beishuan to leave. The overextension comes through from Alvaro, and they quickly convert it into a kill. First blood secured, and what was supposed to be a play that alleviated the pressure from the MKOI bot lane instead increased it. as BLG secure their first advantage of the game.
Absolutely do. Jojo, having TP'd back to lane here, has the tier in the boots, knows that BLG could be moving up from that bot side, so is going to play respectfully with that in mind. And Beishwan heading back into his jungle, starting to cycle these small camps. Did go Raptors, Krugs, Red, so he's going to have those camps up and available here and just keeping that power farming going, trying to make his way quickly towards level 6.
Nice trade there from Knight to get a bit of extra gold from the first strike. The swap coming through, as we've seen pretty consistently throughout these series from both these bot laners. TP being committed now from Mirwin. But overall, very slow early game, aside from that little scrap on the bot side of the map. I mean, BLG playing towards their bot side pretty consistently throughout this series. Bin and Mirwin have largely just been left on an island. Alvaro is going to be denied the opportunity to secure that control ward. I like that Jojo is hovering in the fog, doesn't have the level 6 yet, of course. But once he does, the threat of a potential side lane collapse becomes very real.
I do think Mirwin's going to have quite a difficult job in this game when you're thinking about how he's going to play out team fights and the amount of CC that's over on the other side. You're having to deal with Tangle Barbs, with Pop Blossom, with Ash Arrow, with Skarner Peel, all of these tools as you're trying to fly in there and find access onto the back line. So they're really going to have to be on point with those engages when they go for them, because really it's pretty much Syndra Ash or bust for Mirwin. He's got to get back there and be able to find them. 2v2 going all right, you have to say, for Soup, all things considered. Does have the early Vamp Scepter, so definitely prioritizing the lifesteal here to try to withstand some of the poke that is going to be put on. But Elk out to the early tier 2 boots is going to make things that much more difficult. He's just posturing aggressively constantly here with On. They're always looking just for the poke and prod. You don't even have to hit your E. You just constantly Q poke them over and over as the Nico, and it's pretty much unavoidable. Like, it's such a big Q that you are always going to get at least one tick of it, proc your Scourge, proc your Comet, and slowly whittle them down.
I mean, as you're rightly saying, Super not in the worst position, all things considered. Elyoya wasn't spotted out on any vision, and he's looking for another play. No summoners available on Elk.
Yeah, and Elk is kind of the anti-timing here. Jojo is on the roam as well. They're going to look for it. The Realm Warp is on cooldown, but Jojo's in the area, and On has nowhere to go. Going to be knocked down as he tries to flash out to safety. Jojo flashes in, hits him with the Rune Prison, grabs the kill.
Nice roam from Jojo. He did have to commit the summoner, so Knight is looking, has the stun available. Beishwan's hovering in the area as well.
They are looking. Jojo, no flash. Beishwan, not level 6 though, doesn't have any ulti to follow this up.
Procs the phase rush, which means that Jojo is able to gain the movement speed necessary to get away to safety. Level 5 still on Elyoya, doesn't have his ulti available, but they're looking to contest the Scuttle Crab. Yeah. On back out on the map, and MKOI have made the smart decision to concede this objective.
Going to be able to grab the Scuttle, but no one's starting up the Dragon just yet, so it hasn't been an absolute rush towards it for BLG this game, as they have been really consistently loving to play towards those early Dragons, start that threat of Soul as fast as they possibly can here, but haven't started it up just yet. And we are going to have the Grubs here spawning in 30 seconds, so there is potential to have a trade of the Grubs. Of course, they were desynced in a patch a while ago when they took away the double Grub spawn, but given that there was no early action towards that Dragon, there is the opportunity to just kind of try to play the map for trading.
I imagine Jojo's going to want to get those Merc trades relatively soon. The stuns coming through from Knight have been consistent. It's going to take a bit of a tower shot to interrupt the base from Jojo. This TP is going to be available in a few seconds. Now Elyoya hitting level 6. Level 6 for Super as well. Elk. These ultimates are becoming available, and there it is.
Here, looking for Knight. Flashes away, though, from the Glacial Prison.
Grubs being started, though. I like the idea here from MKOI, get the pick on mid. Maybe they can then convert that pressure into a Grubs contest, but Elyoya is saying, no, okay, it doesn't convert into much. Instead, I'm going to turn my attention towards the Dragon. It would be their first Dragon of the series.
We'll see. I mean, it's going to take a while to actually knock down if it is just Elyoya doing it. And BLG may want to try to challenge here, but Mirwin coming over and is going to help him finish this off, so it should be MKOI's Dragon here. They will be able to effectively get that trade, force out the flash. Going to be pretty happy about how things go with that, all things considered, especially because when you have that split push advantage on someone like the Rise, being able to take away some of the early Dragons means that they can't pressure you to group for a fight with a really early Soul. You know, first Dragon's being taken at like 8.5 minutes and it went to your team, so Soul is so far off into the game.
Very much agree. Meanwhile, when we look at the current state of things, the LG have been able to build a 1.2k gold lead just from their laners. Elk has built a massive advantage in the isolated 2 versus 2. Bin also building a bit of a lead of his own as he's secured a plate on the bot side of the map. Nothing too significant, of course, but a lead is a lead. And Knight keeping that gold close thanks to the extra bit of gold he's getting from the first strike, and also just with some good farm coming through from him. Overall, BLG off to a strong start, and as we've seen before, once they have a foothold in the game, it becomes very difficult to knock them off that control that they have. You really have to be super proactive. You have to knock them off balance and find a way to wrestle control away from them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think range is going to be the struggle here for MKOI. You know, there's a lot of short-range characters here over on their side. You know, even the Rise and the Kalista, both relatively short range. You are going to always be putting yourself in danger of getting hit by a Skarner ult, an Ashe ult, a Scatter the Weak, a Pop Blossom, you know, any sort of big CC or engage that could come through. As Beishuan looking here for Jojo. Great sidestep with the phase rush, but the Ashe arrow is going to connect here. Alvaro in a lot of trouble. They're just going to give him up, but On goes in and it interrupts the Realm Warp from Jojo. Looks like he's going to be okay. Elyoya trying to turn this around onto Knight. Knight in a lot of trouble, has no flash from earlier, and they're going to be able to knock him down. Jojo gets a kill back as MKOI go 1 for 1 in the mid lane.
A nice ulti from Elyoya to lock down Knight. Means that they can trade back because the arrow from the bot lane from Elk connects onto Alvaro. He wasn't able to do anything in the skirmish. And in the 3 versus 3, it looked very BLG favored. We see the engage comes through from Beishuan. The arrow's going to connect onto Alvaro. And then On from the flank as well. Chains the CC, and then he gets a nice ultimate, scaring. Oh, another fight.
We're back to live, and now it's Elk that's potentially in a lot of trouble here. Super gonna go incredibly aggressive. The hostile takeover comes through. It's cleansed, and it doesn't even matter. On's gonna follow as well. It's a double for Supa. The MKOI bot lane roar to life.
They know that the ulti from On was just used in mid lane, so why hesitate? They had nothing that they could use to fight back. Force the engage as quickly as you can, and just like that, Koi come alive here in game 4.
Really nicely done. I mean, the range advantage is on the side of Elk and On, but if you can close that gap, get in on that Ashe, on Nico.
Just fling your support.
There you go. That's the engage tool. Throw him on in there.
It really caught Elk off guard. They were saying, you know what, just go. Yeah, exactly. They have an ult available. He has the flash. He doesn't use it. The cleanse comes through, closes the gap, gets the execution, and then On, well, he does what he can. He comes close to actually getting the kill back, but Supa has more than enough damage, and of course has the bailout there as that extra bit of security.
Really good punish there from MKOI. They knew the cooldowns were missing with no ults. Elk and On didn't really have much of an opportunity to fight back. They did hold on to their flashes though, and Alvaro of course spent his flash as well as the ulti now, and Alt gonna get fired down towards bot lane. Ooh. Jojo has to flash it. Beishuan looking though, will be hit by the Rune Prison. Locked up and not allowed to follow through. Bin now going unstoppable. He's going to go all out. He's looking for Mirwin. Can he find him? Gigabin wants the solo. Will he be able to make it happen here? Mirwin looking confident, forces the flash there out of Bin. Well handled there by the MKOI top lane.
Good patience from Mirwin, waiting for the shield to disappear. I really think Mirwin had a kill angle there, and it seems that Mirwin felt the same way. Bin is going to be forced back to base. Oh, that was a flash, right?
Oh, they're going to try to potentially dive Jojo here. Remember, he has no flash, but he clears out the wave too fast, so not going to be an opportunity. I mean, Bin just wanted to force because he had just finished his first item, right? He has the Iceborne. So he comes back and he says, I'm going to force an all-in. Eclipse is not yet done, but Mirwin playing it well, able to hold his nerve, doesn't even have to use the flash, so gets the advantage, even though Bin was up items.
Okay, Dragon spawning soon. Elyoya steals away the red. Oh, actually, will he succeed in this steal?
We'll find out. Beishuan's coming in. He wants to contest it. It's going to be a smite bite. And Elyoya just walks out of there. Beishuan going to be able to grab it. Doesn't want to overextend and get collapsed on. Jojo again back towards the side lane. Does have the Roa now, so that is going to be ticking up, has the Merc Treads, has the tier. So he is scaling, and he's going to be quite tanky, and he has to continue just vacuuming up farm in the side lanes, being that point of pressure, because BLG really doesn't want to be answering him insides. They want to be grouping up, they want to be engaging fights and looking for picks. So the more JoJo can draw pressure to those side lanes, I think the better it's going to be for MKOI.
Very much agree. See if they can do that. Ultimately, though, KOI have achieved their first objective, which is avoiding BLG getting a huge early game advantage, which in Game 1 and Game 3 is how they snowball to victory. Here in Game 4, the gold is practically dead even. The items are pretty fair across the landscape, and as we get closer to this dragon, it's going to ultimately come down to execution. BLG have some very talented individuals, and they found some great fights, but KOI have been able to go toe-to-toe with them as long as they can find the right angle of attack. The objective is started off.
BLG are killing this incredibly fast. MKOI not going to have anything to say about it. It goes down in a hurry, and now there are pings over onto JoJo. They know he's in the side brush, and this time just barely doesn't connect with that Ash arrow. They had that deep ward, so they saw him walk into that forward brush, and they decided to go for it.
Part of me thinks it's the same one that he flashed earlier. He's going to have to give up this tower. This Beishuan very deep here.
Oh, good sidestep again. Nice utilization of the phase rush there. Procs it, gets the move speed, and he's got the fancy feet to avoid it.
Good cross map, though, from Elioya. Recognizing that the jungler's gone far too deep on the bot side of the map, he's going to set his sights on this Herald. Of course, those bot camps once again going to be taken. Beishuan very good at just stealing away camps.
He's back. This tower is low. This could be risky.
No ulti available on Beishuan, though.
JoJo is clearing out the wave here. He's going to try to realm warp to safety. Beishuan flash forward, sends him into the wall. He's going to try to go back to the tower to finish it off. He can't quite do it. So Beishuan getting very low. JoJo low here as well, but no one in the area from MKOI to help him out. They're going to be able to donate the kill here over to Knight, I think. Is going to be able to grab it. They do finally take down JoJo.
Herald going to be used in the mid lane to open up this objective. It was a bit of an ambitious TP. TP in response as the bot tower falls. KOI losing some control over the map as that mid tower stays alive. Knight going to get to push in an extra wave in the bot lane as well. Mirwin doing what he can on the top side of the map, but that tower is still very healthy. Nice punish comes through from BLG. They get themselves a 1k gold lead once again.
And you can see just like that, again, Knight out to a significant gold advantage here. About 650 in his favor. Even with the early kills there for JoJo. Feels like that work can so easily get wiped away, just like last game, had the incredible laning phase. Then, does get punished on that one dive from BLG, but Mirwin trying to get something back on this top side. Should be able to finish off this tower, but might be overstaying his welcome a little bit if he did do so. Ash arrow comes out, not going to connect, and Mirwin intelligently does back off and still had tag on the tower, so I think he's still probably got the local gold there.
It's decided to stick around. The clone being used to get some vision. Pings come down onto Super. Oh, right. The range just short. Super very cautious, and this is something that BLG are always doing when there's no waves to play on. They're trying to be proactive on the map. They are inherently a very proactive team, sometimes to their detriment, but so far in this series against KOI, it's worked in their favor. 17 minutes in, the goal difference is only about 500s. A lot of that sitting on the mid jungle for BLG. These neutral objectives still a ways away, so the priority right now is just continuing to farm and working towards those second items.
It does feel like the closest game that we've had so far because, game 1, BLG kind of stomped. Game 2, MKOI kind of stomped. And BLG, obviously, there were some moments where MKOI, I think, brought it back a little bit in that third game, but still BLG felt like they were mostly in control. After the early laning phase advantages that JoJo was able to get. He's vibing.
He is vibing. Having a great time listening to the beats of the Rift.
Brother is chilling.
He is having a great time. He's enjoying this series just like we are. He's listening to the sounds of nature, the sounds of Rift.
Okay.
And soon the sounds of violence as KOI and BLG posture in the mid lane. Unbelievable. They moved him. Difference.
Okay. So he's still alive. He just teleported.
He's good, yeah, he's good, he's good.
Okay, thank God. Crisis averted.
Look at JoJo on the bot lane. He's very aware of how precarious his position is. It's a good ward to spot out Beishuan, but he can't really approach that bot wave.
Yeah. I mean, it's been tough for JoJo. BLG have been really doing a good job of keeping deep vision, putting pressure on him. JoJo has not really been able to cross the river whatsoever. So as much as he wants to be putting that pressure onto towers, being that split push threat, he has not really been in a position to do so because they haven't ever had deep vision. When you look at the minimap, there's really nothing past the river, right? Like, there's nothing here besides these couple of wards from MKOI, some of these kind of defensive wards down here, but that is really about it. And without those deep wards, it's really tough for JoJo to actually be pressuring these towers. Anytime he steps too far forward, he could just be getting jumped on by the Skarner.
Certainly is, and he's already experienced that once before. But again, KOI couldn't ask for a better position, especially when we think about how the series has gone so far. They're a team that's have confidence in themselves and their ability to play the fights, but Beishuan looking to take some of that confidence away.
Irwin potentially in some trouble here. He is very far up. He's trying to buy time for Elyoya, who is coming down, and in comes the teleport as well from multiple members. Knight and JoJo both going to arrive to the fight. Elyoya is now here. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow doesn't quite connect. JoJo trying to turn this around on the Beishuan, but he finds a two-man impale, and Knight is here as well. Bin's going to go all out, and he's taking JoJo on a trip that he does not want to be on. Nice realm ward back to safety, though, on the other side, but Elk is here. Ez is on flashes in, knocks him up, and BLG knock him down. A couple kills going their way, but at the very least, MKOI did get back one with a kill on the Beishuan.
The collapse was just faster for BLG. The arrival of the Nico was the game changer needed. KOI, you saw how they felt confident in that play. They were the ones chasing after BLG with knowing that their bot lane was arriving. The TP comes through quick, but that rotation that already comes through from the bot side of the map means that the arrival of the bot lane turns the fight in their favor. A nice ulti comes through from Beishuan to connect onto 2. All of the damage is thrown onto JoJo to try and shut him out of the fight. He's then taken out of the fight, turning it into a 2v2 that starts to be won by the KOI top jungle duo. But then Elk and On arrive. They get a nice combo off, and they get themselves 2 kills. If Super and Alvaro had been a few seconds earlier, it could have been a big fight for KOI, but it ends up going the way of BLG.
BLG back to live and right onto this dragon. Elyoya trying to see if there's an angle. He's trying to be in range of that smite here. Will he be able to steal it away? Can't quite get it. Was a flip, but it is taken there by Beishuan. Alvaro eating a little bit of poke from Elk and Knight, but BLG have the objective, and they're going to be happy to back off.
KOI has positioning on the mid wave, though. That tower is getting very low. The fact that they'll be able to clear this out means that they should be able to secure this objective. I want them to send more members here, but Renata's going to go back to base, so no, they don't actually have the power anymore. The threat of the Syndra means that they're too hesitant to approach the tower, and it's an objective secured for BLG. Again, holding control of the game for now.
Irwin going to be answering Bin up on that top side, who did not teleport down for the play. JoJo does at least push in the wave, but cannot threaten that tier 1 bot. Isn't safe to be able to walk up and get any damage down on it. Just doesn't have the vision to really do so. Otacon has been such a big draw for BLG. Like, every game it feels like it spawns, they go there, they force a fight, they force an objective. This time, though, the game is quite close, so BLG not looking as confident to just straight up start the Otacon raid on spawn.
Beishuan, though, going to be able to tank a lot of the damage up if he wants to. That is On hovering on the bot river. He's going to chip away at the Otacon to try and force Super and Alvaro to take the long way around. Elyoya.
Oh, they're going to go for JoJo. Enchanted Crystal Arrow right to the base. There's the flash forward. There's the Impale. The CC is all getting layered. JoJo is tanky, but he's not tanky enough. And that might just be what they need to try to go for more. Now they're looking here for Elyoya. Supin's in great position, though. The hostile takeover comes through. Beishuan is left to the wolves. They get a kill. It costs them a lot, though, and MKOI answer right back.
I mean, I was really worried for KOI there because BLG, they have been throwing out arrow after arrow, and JoJo just oversteps in the mid lane. The quick collapse once again from BLG. They are just so fast at punishing, but now the jungler's gone. The fact that he overstayed is welcome. The fact that he got punished means that the smite is available for KOI. They have the Kalista as well. Bin wants to fight. Keep your eyes on Mirwin on the flank.
Yeah, Mirwin on the flank here, trying to threaten Knight as well as Elk here, as this is getting lower and lower and lower. BLG just going to have to give it up. They're going to try to turn around on a Mirwin. Great engage here from On. The Scatter of the Week there to follow. Do they have the damage to actually knock him down? He's going to go in. Elk is in trouble. Cleanse Flash out to safety. Elyoya in onto Bin, but he could be the one in trouble now. In comes the McHales, but he just gets control, all deleted by Knight. Alvaro now in trouble, is gonna have to get pulled in there by the Fate's Call. Kalista keeps her support safe, At the end of the day, MKOI do walk away with the Otacon. Jojo here has to be a little bit careful. Elk trying to space him, but Jojo putting down so much damage onto him. Jojo now running for the hills here. Beishuan coming in. The teleport's going to be coming back from Knight. The Impale does not connect. As On is there looking for the Tangle Barbs. They can't close the gap to Jojo. He gets out, but it does cost the cleanse now on Supa as he arrives and tanks some damage from Knight.
It must be so stressful playing against BLG because anything you try to do, they fight you for it.
I want this minion. Well, I'll fight you.
Yeah.
I want this jungle camp. Well, I'll fight you.
I mean, we look back at this play and BLG wisely recognized we can't contest this, so let's just collapse onto Mirwin. And it's a good engage. The chain CC looks good. They thought that they've got the pick, but he throws out the ultimate to get away to safety. And at this point, they want to disengage, but Elyoya thinks that the play is to keep the fight going. They've used too many resources. He ends up falling, and so Koi is forced to retreat. So it ends up being a kill in exchange for the Otacon. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, the arrow gets used onto Jojo in the mid wave. He looks like he's in a very scary position, but he is just barely able to get away with his life. The goal, again, we find is even, and the fights continue to be the same. 6-7, the kill score.
You can see in that last fight, though, Knight has the upgraded ulti, I do believe, there with the splinters. You know, it looked like he had the execute up and ready as Elyoya just got popped. You know, and that is your tank. So definitely a frightening situation here. You can see, nice little advantage for Supa, and he is getting into the point of the game where you can go towards Terminus, you can go towards Jackshow, Wits End, and things like this to try to stay safe. Jojo is very far up there, does not have the Realm Warp available, but feels he sees enough members that he is going to be safe, and we know at least
the thing
that
you got to be careful of. Keeping my eyes on the mini-map. I learned from many years ago to look at the arrow. So...
they're looking like they were about to start that.
Yeah, that's a scary Baron angle. And the BLG say the same. They throw out the Hawk shot to get a bit of information. Bin and Mirwin continue to just skirmish on the bot side of the map as a contest over the vision continues. Jojo returns. He now has the Seeker's arm guards. My goodness, this game feels incredibly tense. BLG at match point. MKOI looking to do what no Western team has done before, take a second game off BLG in a series. The Dragon started off, and it looks like BLG is not in a position to contest.
Nope, they're just going to give it. And MKOI also going to be able to finally take down this tier 1 bot as Mirwin as well as Jojo do team up to knock that one down. So the slightest of gold leads now here is secured by MKOI. 200 in their favor, now 100. It's basically dead even. The gold does not matter whatsoever. As it's super, well, never mind. As Knight is going to be able to actually take down this tier 1.
He is getting scary. Knight on this Syndra, working towards the Void Staff next to help melt through the front line. Elyoya starting to build up those resistances, but he's really the only tanky member. As Knight gets closer and closer to level 16, a level behind Jojo thanks to the Rod of Ages.
There's the Terminus, though, from Supa, so he's going to have that armor pen as well as the additional tankiness, stacking up that armor and MR as you do go for it. And I'm going to be interested to see where he goes from here. You know, does he feel like he needs a QSS on top of the cleanse? Is he feeling like he's okay with the Mikhails plus the cleanse and he can just go in towards Jackshow or BT? There's a lot of options here. There's a tremendous amount of magic damage as well, you know, when you're looking over at both the Syndra and the Nico. So Wits End, I think, has merit. I think there's really a lot of reasonable choices here for Supa.
Magic resistance now coming through from Elyoya. Much needed for sure. God, you just feel the tension continuing to mount. 2 dragons to 2. The Baron is alive. The towers have largely fallen, with the mid still standing strong for Koi. Who's going to be the one to make the play? Well, I got tricked there by the Nico on. Just chipping away, seeing what he can. The contest over the mid wave. I'm keeping my eyes on the minimap again. Jojo pushing on the top lane. Koi have to respect the numbers advantage that BLG have for now. Bin hiding in the fog of war. Mirwin pushes in that bot wave, wants to go back to base, spend some gold as quickly as he can.
We're starting to see those side lane advantages show themselves a little bit more here, though, for MKOI. As we saw BLG trying to group mid, and then both Knight and Bin have to go to the side lanes to answer what Mirwin and Jojo were doing with those minion waves. And it is going to get tougher and tougher to potentially take down Jojo in that side lane now that he does have the Seeker's Arm Guard. He's been on that for a while, and if you can use that to immune something like the Syndra ultimate, it is so key. Because it is a very easy spell to react to. Things like the Impale can be immuned as well. So we'll see if he can continue putting on that pressure, because this time it's him that's up that full level in just a little bit. His Knight is close to 16, but JoJo has already crested 17, of course, with the Rod of the Ages, and has the large rod on top. So closing in now on his third item for the Zhonya's, as Knight has had his third done for quite some time.
The Crypt Bloom, along with the large rod, now secured.
Death Gap.
I feel like we're getting closer and closer to that game-deciding fight. I feel like on paper, BLG have the advantage in the front to back. But as you rightly said, KOI, their ability to find picks, the Rise ultimate, you can collapse very effectively on an unsuspecting target.
And while BLG do have some really good engage tools, if you overcommit there, well, hostile takeover can be a game changer.
It's true.
It can completely turn around. You know, be able to have a bailout come down. And if you overcommit onto one target and that bailout comes through, hostile takeover hits everyone, you get the reset, the game can change just like that.
I can feel it's like on a knife's edge right now. It can easily swing either way. Knight fishing the arrow.
Be able to connect on the arrow. Elyoya in some trouble, does jump out to safety. Alvaro, though, might not be so lucky here. Gets pulled back by Supa, and in comes the teleport. Mirwin is going to arrive. Alvaro incredibly low, but JoJo flashes forward, and he catches the AD carry. Bin trying to peel for him, as Mirwin's diving into the backline. Mirwin trying to make it happen. He's going to get McHale's. He's healing up an incredible amount. Babestruan gets knocked down as well. It's MKOI taking over the fight. It's a triple for Supa, as BLG can't stop him. It's Knight and On still around here, but no one falls for MKOI, and they have their eyes on the Baron.
MKOI make it happen. They win the team fight. Mirwin trying to keep them away from the Baron. He's going for this. He gets another. He's searching for the last one. He's gonna take out Knight. A double kill for Mirwin as KOI secure the ace. They get themselves the Baron. KOI with a fantastic team fight have set up for us going to game 5, a beautiful Baron. It was such a tense moment, such a close back and forth. My goodness, I thought that when they threw Alvaro in, it was just gonna be disaster.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like Alvaro had been caught out, that it could be problematic, but MKOI commit fully to the fight. Mirwin got so much work done, and the initial play here, you know, when they go for that flash forward onto Elk, really kind of turn things around.
Yeah, so we see Alvaro, he knows he's safe because he has Supa's ultimate to bring him to safety. A huge ulti from him, but Elyoya connects his ult onto the clone. Now Elk is the one that's in a difficult spot. As Mirwin arrives, they get so much damage down onto Elk and execute him initially. And as you rightly identified, Mirwin just feels unkillable on the front line. In the middle of 3, he was unstoppable.
He procs the grasp, he's healing up from that, and he autos, you know, one member after another with Sundered Sky, and he just got a ridiculous amount of healing. He just crushed them, and JoJo helping to set that up, you know, finding Elk. Mirwin gets in there, and then Mirwin really got the work done. Both Supa and Mirwin now out to about a 2.5k gold lead. There's the Jack Show done now for Supa. Good luck one-shotting him now. It's going to be incredibly difficult here for BLG to be able to just delete that Kalista.
Mirwin, he's got to be cautious of the...
Oh, they're looking. Mirwin caught. He's going to be hit by the scatter. Do they commit everything here? They don't need to use more, but it does cost them quite a bit. Multiple ultimates, and JoJo is going to be up on this top side. Teleport coming in here from Bin to answer, but JoJo's still going to feel confident about his positioning. Does have that tower pretty low. Bin not going to be able to win this 1v1. You have to think at this point.
Nice TP response comes through from BLG to keep that Tier 3 tower top lane alive. The stuns from Knight are terrifying. Supa at the very cusp of taking a lot of damage. The Syndra ultimate already about to come back up. BLG have slowed the pressure down. Only 50 seconds left of the Baron. MKOI would love to get more. Looks like for now they're not going to be able to without Mirwin. They just don't quite have the numbers. So JoJo playing safe. He's not actually insta-pushing that top wave. He's waiting for another wave to connect on the bot side of the map. MKOI trying to play with all the waves that they have right now.
Yeah, and you can see the Baron power play, just about 500 additional gold earned after the initial kill of that Baron. But of course, still a massive gold swing, especially when you're considering the 5 for 0 right before that was huge for MKOI. This one definitely had been the closest game by far. And it's MKOI that come up big when they need it most. They are on Soul Point. They've extended themselves out to a 4,000 gold lead. QSS now in for Supa. You have the McHale's, you have the Locket there for Alvaro to try to protect him. You have 3 ways to cleanse CC now between Supa and Alvaro. It is going to be so impossible to lock down this Kalista.
And I will say, it's just So cool to see Super in the position that he's in. Of course, when he made that deft comment last year, of course, he was memed, he was made fun of a lot, but it comes from a place of confidence where he wants to believe and he has to believe that he can compete with the best in the world. And he gives so much credits to his coach and the confidence that he helped him believe in. And the fact that he can come here today and play like he is playing with that level of confidence, getting that triple kill in that last fight, that's the type of performance that fans have come to expect from Super. And the fact that he's delivering here in Game 4, looking to bring MKOI to Game 5, is great to see. We'll see if they can close things out. BLG is no easy opponent. The gold is still heavily in BLG's favor, KOI's favor, but later and later into the game we go, that gold matters less and less, especially as these 4th items are being completed.
Yeah, death cap done now for Knight. That is a big one over for him, and Elk going to be working in towards that Infinity Edge. Those are the 2 major items that they are looking for their carries to really ramp up the damage, as Elyoya way too tanky for On to mess around with. It's really just up to being able to find Elk and Knight. Can you find those carries and be able to knock them down, or will the potential counter engage there from BLG stifle the aggression that MKOI are going to be looking for? The Baron, of course, has expired. It's going to be up again in about 1 minute and 30 seconds, and they have a potential Soul here in 2 minutes. Mountain Soul would do a lot of work to be able to answer the kind of composition that BLG have, where most of their damage really is burst and is up front, besides just the Ashe.
Oh, so we return to a point of tension once more. BLG, of course, now find themselves on the back foot, but not down and out by any means. The arrow from Elk, always an option for finding a pick.
Bloodthirster for Mirwin.
Yep.
He is cooking.
He wants to live.
Yeah.
And I feel like he has the tools to do it.
I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense when you think about the kind of composition that BLG have. Again, they have so much upfront damage, but if you can survive that and then be able to actually get into that back line, we saw how much healing he did last time. And it
also
was
just having that extra shield going into the fight definitely just makes you that much harder to kill.
Definitely can't be poked down either. MKOI now trying to turn things around as Knight will just pull back this red buff. They'll look to burst it down, and we'll see if they can do that. We'll be able to grab it, so nicely played there by BLG, securing the red buff for their team. So we're just waiting for Baron.
KOI have to be careful now. Mirwin wants to push in that bot wave, but he realizes he's very isolated from his team. Of course, has the teleport available. They have good vision control as well, but he realizes, no, it's a little too dangerous, so he's going to keep pushing in that mid wave instead.
IE done now as well, so those big items now have come through here for BLG. The Infinity Edge as well as the Death Cap are completed. Jojo, of course, has to start working on his Death Cap, but that will be coming down the pipes if this game does continue on. Mirwin, though, on a good flank here. Could look for that potential angle. They're trying to find him out, but if Elk steps too far to the side, Mirwin may just go for him or Knight. I
like Elk's positioning, though. He's staying very close to his team. He's avoiding that fog of war. Mirwin going to be spotted.
Yeah, will be spotted. And the question is, does BLG feel confident to try to start a fight themselves here? They're the ones now being choked out of vision, trying to reclaim some semblance of control here by going through mid lane. Mirwin again on the side. Elyoya threatening on the other side as well. MKOI kind of have this 3-man squad in the mid lane, as there is the Mikhail's having to be used onto Jojo as he got caught by that scatter. Bin now being pulled in, has to use the Pathmaker to get back to safety. Getting chunked down a little bit there, but any amount of health could really make the difference in a fight that is feeling like it's going to be this close.
It feels very tense
again. Elyoya is going to go. He does spot Knight. On trying to block him out, though. They are trying to keep him back. Beishuan now taking a little bit of damage. Elyoya decides not to go for it. Didn't want to commit. As Alvaro's getting picked.
Yeah, he's in a lot of danger. He took a lot of damage. Jojo now on the flank. They're trying to get some chip damage. Ooh, another big hit onto Alvaro. Knight doing some huge work in these skirmishes. Oh, they're going to use that to go straight towards the...
but it's going to be a trade for Baron, so they're going to make the call to actually go for this. BLG say, you know what, we got the poke, we're going to take the Baron. You get the soul, but the soul lasts forever, so BLG are going to have to try to get a lot done with this Baron buff, or the trade will not be worth it. The question is, can they find the angles to really force the hand here? Try to get in there, try to look for dives, try to close out the game, or at least create a massive advantage with this. Because otherwise, MKOI are going to be so happy with the trade.
Jojo keeping pressure on the bot side of the map, going to steal away what camps he can. We're getting close to the 40-minute mark. And you can tell that BLG, I mean, the gold means very little this late into the game. BLG still have a strong front-to-back teamfight composition. But KOI, they have quite a few creative ways of getting onto the back line. And something you mentioned, Azael, was Alvaro's ultimate can be the game changer, can be the difference maker, especially when they were clumped up around that Baron area. It hit like 3, even 4 members and just kind of keeps BLG clumped, which then gives Mirwin so many playmaking possibilities and it buys a lot of space for Super. So positioning is going to be crucial. And this late into the game, you just got to remember that everyone does a lot of damage. A single misstep from an AD carry or a mid laner, you're likely just going to get one shot. A flash isn't going to be enough to save you, but a bailout could very well be the difference as well. So there's a lot of small things. It's ultimately going to come down to execution. I was looking at the summoner spells. Elgoya doesn't have his flash available. As far as I can tell, he's the only one without a summoner spell right now, which just goes to show how, well, the next fight is likely going to determine the game.
Very likely. Supa does have full build now, has that Mercurial, has a lot of MR stacked up, plus the Mountain Soul. So it's going to be really hard for Knight to be able to pick him off quickly. Plus dealing with the bailout, the locket, the shield as well. That could be coming through. They're going to look for Mirwin. Mirwin is going to be connected onto, and there's a Pop Blossom from On. But here comes the hostile takeover, instantly cleansed off by Elk. They get the first kill, and now Alvaro could be in some trouble. Going to have to get pulled back by the Fate's Call. Elyoya uses the ulti over on Elk just to buy some time. BLG, just like that, find Mirwin and burst them down, and now they're going to continue the push here. Jojo gets actually stopped on the recall, so On is just going to harass him. BLG are going to try to keep going. They're going to try to threaten the base here as On is just chasing after Jojo, not allowing him to get back, and he is most of their wave clear at this point. BLG going for the throat. Can Jojo get back there to his team? Elyoya getting put incredibly low, gets hit by the scatter. He's taking some damage now from the Ashe as Bin steps forward. The first Nexus tower is already down. Finally, Jojo's back, but is it too little? Is it too late? BLG with their eyes on the Nexus. They're just focusing it down. Knight will finish it off. Elk and Knight make it happen. Knock down the Nexus, take the series, and crush the hopes of Europe. It's going to end 3-1 off the back of a pick, just like that.
Just like that. A single misstep is all it took. A quick collapse onto Mirwin into a game-ending play. They made the Baron work perfectly. With the Baron-empowered minions, they ran straight down mid and they just ended it. BLG will take the series 3-1.
Heartbreak for MKOI. Felt like they were in control, that they were in a good spot in that game. On the precipice of potentially forcing a Game 5, but BLG find the opportunity, pick off Mirwin, and then On is just hunting Jojo. He can't get back to the base, and he is their wave clear. So by the time he arrives, the Nexus turrets fall, and it's cooked.